Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-682-3311. That's 800-682-3311. 800-682-3311.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Associated Press, which I linked to from that rag, that fraud, that lying propaganda outlet called the Drudge Report. Associated Press, only 37% of Americans approve of Trump's economy. Boy, that's an ironic number. You know why, Squirrel? Only 40% of Americans actually are net taxpayers. My next guest has been one since he left college. You know why? Good at making money. The Dutch, very smart, very wise. Anything to do with making money, anything to do with speculation, anything to do with equities, finance, cash. Scott Shellady, Scott the Cow Guy, that's where I go. What are you doing, sexy?
All right, brother. Thanks. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. What's up?
I have to tell you, it's really astonishing, as I am very excited about this realigning of an austerity program, Trump style, as I like to call it, the reorganizing as we, the supplier of the most important commodity in the universe, and all the ships that are coming to the Gulf of America, all those new oil offshore that are being built, the venues that are being built, all the companies that are sprouting up when it comes to energy. Now, granted, in Democrat areas, they don't feel it, because after all, the biggest energy company extortionist is the government in Illinois, in New York, in California. It's amazing to see how sequestered the people who live under these totalitarian Democrat mobsters do not realize the governments make 10 times what the refineries make, what the transportation companies make. So they blame Trump for oil prices when Illinois is $1.28 more a gallon than Florida.
Well, I mean, that's the easy thing to do, isn't it? I mean, and that's what they've been doing for a long time, and they're actually adding on more tax, I believe. So they're not going to turn that around at all, and people have to drive, so they know that they can put a tax on it. It's like you're not going to stop driving like you can quit smoking. So it's an easy place to go. Well,
and it affects the people who can afford it the least, like all of the regressive Democrat mafia taxes for breathing, how they turn you into just a slave and a receipt generator for taxes. You can't move. What's fascinating to me is, because, you know, I still have bills in both states, to look at just the energy costs. That crooked ComEd that was caught in bed with the Chicago Democrats, the difference in electricity for here in Illinois versus Florida or Tennessee or anywhere else. It's amazing how they're able to turn up the costs and blame Washington, D.C. when those are only state costs that are levied on the people. They don't understand that if you look at the economy, if you look at the trillions of dollars that are committed to going to those 11 states we talk of so often, if you look at the actual reprivatization of the economy, I think he's doing fantastic myself.
Okay, look, he is doing a great job, and a lot of the things that he's doing don't get a lot of press, but he is doing a lot of the things he said he was going to do, and he's trying to do the things that he has had to finish. But here's where the problem is that the world is awash with all these stories about artificial intelligence, and I think that's got a lot to do with people's attitudes and moods. And yes, the lower part of that K-shaped economy, the lower 70 or 80% of incomes, they struggle. They have to fill their car up with gas once a week. They got to go to the grocery store too. And then on top of that, they're worried about whether or not they're going to have a job. Yeah, that's why you get these consumer confidence levels that are all-time record lows. I really do think there's a lot of angst out there, and it's due to the fact that most people aren't sure about their long-term prospects in their job because of technology, and then I throw on top of that a little bit of a higher price because of the Trump administration trying to take Iran's nuclear ambitions away, and that's a recipe for, I mean, bad numbers. But number two is they could be a lot worse. So considering everything I just said, I don't think it's that bad.
Well, you know, the other thing too is as people who do this for a living, as people who understand how much of the government failure is on cruise control, and the general public doesn't understand the spending of which continues in perpetuity is because it's legislated to continue in perpetuity. You can't back off this spending as they've already committed it. He's changed the direction of so much of the spending, but he can't stop the spending. And it reminds me of what you said when it came to Illinois, right? The J.B. Pritzker, 27 new taxes. And what he does is he writes percentage increases on anniversaries. So you don't ever have to even do a new tax. You've already done 27 new taxes. And now you're taxing on taxes, taxing on increase, taxing on percentages that are automatic kickers the way Washington, D.C. writes policies. So they automatically increase by 3% a year. So even if you get somebody who says, we're going to rip it out, they can't. So much of that has already been legislated by the Tom Masseys, by the Democrat gangsters, and they didn't explain this back to their constituents. When Joe Biden passes the Inflation Reduction Act, it's not the $2.7 trillion they admit to. It's the $6 trillion it turns into by the time Trump's term ends. And nobody talks about that.
Oh, no. And you know what? Look, I've said this over and over again, too. I don't think that they understand how big the numbers are. They pretend like they do. But at the end of the day, they probably couldn't be able to articulate how big some of these things are, because I've heard some of my friends that are friends with these counselors and representatives and senators, they don't really get it, too. A lot of them don't really grasp the size of what they're talking about. I mean, people have a hard time understanding $1 billion is $100 million, right? That's hard enough for people to get through. How about $1 trillion? So I think that's part of it too. They just can't get their heads around it. So yeah, there's some dirty deals going on, and I think I don't think that should be legal. You shouldn't be able to automatically have things renew at a higher price.
Well, they cook it in the books. They cook it in the books. It's been cooked in since the 70s. Baseline budgeting, it's called.
Yeah, I know, but it should. Look, okay, here's the story. Here's what needs to happen. All right, we need to go back to our budgets in 2019, which were already inflated anyway, but I'll say 2019. Let's add inflation in between there and now, and that's what you got. Because we have blown them apart because of this fear of COVID. Let's just go back to 2019, adjust for inflation to 2026, take it or leave it. We hope you leave it. That's all.
Well, and the other thing, too, is you need somebody like Trump in because he is willing to break the China that so many of these other frauds run on forever and do nothing. And when you look at the fact that the problem goes back to Obama, the massive growth in the spending is because of legislation from Obamacare and everything else those morons cooked up since he was president. And the idea that we have never tackled the fraud, the financial crime, of monetizing debt, of creating a fictitious buyer to pretend there's a demand for your bonds, that infuriates me. Because until you get somebody who understands what they're talking about and somebody who is willing to say, who's getting the interest? Who gets it? You made up the buyer. Who gets it? You facilitated the transaction. Who made the brokerage? Who gets the percentage where there was no buyer? Because now you're going to get nothing. There is no debt. There is no money. My offer to you is this. I don't owe myself. I decided I don't owe myself anything.
Right. I mean, you know, what? Okay, let me ask you a question. What would you do about it? If you were king for a day, give me the first two things that you would change.
I would strip the Federal Reserve of all monetized debt proceeds because that's who's making the money. Those scallywags at the Federal Reserve are making the money, and they figured they'd cut enough banks in to keep everybody quiet. It immediately stops tomorrow, and the next thing, those two things, I only need two things. All currencies will be anchored to the value of the American real estate and the treasures underneath it. And a basket of commodities. It will not be gold. It will not just be silver. It'll be everything. All the so-called precious materials underneath, but most importantly, our oil, our natural gas, our real estate values. We're 6% developed. 94% of this country is untouched. Can you imagine how strong that dollar would be?
It would be amazing. You're right. And people are shocked to realize if you look at a map, I mean, there is so much land that we have not even begun to turn a shovel in. It is amazing to think that, because we all keep thinking that, everybody's so overcrowded, but not if you go across the entire country. It's amazing.
6% developed. You look at these states. Look at Wyoming. Look at South Dakota with John Thune. That rat bastard. You want to talk about a straw man? I can't get over the power this idiot has. What's the population of South Dakota? Is it 5 million? Not even close. It's like 1.7 million. That's all it's there.
I would have guessed 1 million. Wow. I mean, and he's holding a lot of power, isn't he, for 1.7 million people?
And this is why I'm excited about what you and I talk about. Not just the 11 states that are kicking everybody's ass at 7%, 70% of the GDP, but the ability for people who are oppressed, people who are hopeless, who are stuck in these totalitarian extortion mafia states like Illinois and New York. If you could just be a travel agent, are you a decent person? Do you promise to vote only for America? Go to South Dakota. The land is virtually cheap. There is no property taxes, and you could throw out any crook that wants to pretend to be an establishment hack. You could really transform the country, not because you're going to shore up the Republicans in Illinois, but you're going to take the good people and you're going to put them strategically across the country to shore up the good states and let all the bad states go ahead. You got a lot of room there. Let's get all the scumbags in Illinois. There's room.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, exactly right. But you know what? I think what you've talked about it before, but I think you're onto something. But it's happening naturally, or at least organically, is that we're seeing people that can. That's the problem. The people that can move do move, and the poor people that can't move are the ones that get shafted. That's the problem.
How about the kids?
We're seeing so much move down to Florida from New York. We're seeing a lot of folks move to Tennessee, Texas, South Carolina. I mean, especially out of Illinois. Now they're trying this wealth tax. That wealth tax is going to go across the country, folks. In any blue state, they're going to bring that up, and they're going to force more. I mean, I don't understand the logic of trying to get rid of the golden goose. I'll never get it. But they think that these people are going to stick around, and the only people that are going to stick around are the people that have no money because they can't leave.
It's the Marxists that shrug off the Stalin deaths of 75 million. It was worth it. We were onto something. And you look at the way in which they demonized back then. That's the greatest example to study is Russia. Russia was a successful country before the communist Marxist scum took it over. And they were, 9% of the population, if that? But they took over those key spots. And you look at what it was and how it survived in poverty for 72 years under collectivism. And the fact that these idiots want to try it again, I think it's fantastic. And I think until capitalists understand what's at stake, the Bezos of the world, and you say, wait, are you talking to me? And you just pull out of there. Now there is no Amazon. Hey, New York, no Amazon. Chicago, no Amazon. Starbucks, no coffee. Get the hell out of here. Until the capitalists unite and shut off the cancer, they're just going to keep killing it and killing each other and telling everybody how you're enslaved to your crack-smoking, degenerate scumbag neighbor. That's the real issue. Healthcare. I got to give healthcare to a Democrat? Nothing. How in the frack do I have to pay for these scumbags? I don't even want to live near them. And that's the beauty.
Well, you're right. You don't have to, and you don't now. That's the one good thing. But, I saw you do the math, or at least I saw some decent research on this $5 million pied-à-terre tax in New York, and how now it's coming down to $1 million. It's going to be everybody that says it's not going to be me, it's going to be you, believe me. And the numbers that you're looking at in New York, I mean, $1 million place in New York, I know that's a lot of money, but it's not a very big place in New York anymore because it's so expensive there.
You call up Operation
a lot of New Yorkers are going to get hit. They're going to get hit with these taxes, and they're not insignificant. Now, they keep saying, the assessed value is nowhere near what market value is. I don't care. They have a 37% federal tax rate, an 11% state tax rate, and a 3% city tax rate. They're already paying 52% of their money in tax anyway, not including these new taxes they're throwing at this real estate market. I've never in my life, I don't know, you need to get your head examined if you want to stay around New York and you've got assets and a lot of money.
Well, this was my argument when we were kids. How hard is it to always get started when you make your money honestly? Remember when we were kids, you finally make that $100,000 you're dreaming of, and you owe the G50. What are you, out of your fracking mind? What did these idiots do? Did they risk their ass? Did they study all night? Did they go to work and sweat their ass off? Of course not. So you're only taxing the productive. You're only taxing the ones who make their money honestly. The legacy wealth never pays any taxes. And all the scumbags in New York that own these, they'll just put them in an LLC's name that is attached to a religious exempt organization. So if you're honest, you call up Rainbow Push Coalition and you donate it to them. Only if they turn it into a crack house or a meth addict rehab center. That's what I would do. How do you like this, Fifth Avenue? Right here. And now I take the write-off for eternity for $40 million. Go ahead, pass it. I dare you.
You know, I don't know if this is true or not, but I had a decent meeting on Monday down here in Nashville with somebody that's pretty senior and knows a lot of people in Washington. And he asked me the question about why, on either side of the aisle, anybody that had a lot of money or a lot of stocks and a lot of assets would ever take a position that paid so little, and you had to divest yourself of all your investments. I did not know what they do, but did you know that if you take a job with the government, you try to get, say, an ambassadorship somewhere abroad, or you're in the cabinet here, and you have to pay that, you get that salary of 180 or 200 grand, whatever it is. I mean, it's not nothing to sneeze at, but it's not what you were making in the private sector as a millionaire each year. And if you have to divest yourself of all your stock holdings and interests, you get to do it and pay no tax.
Yeah, no tax. Ever.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Well, did you ever see how ferret-faced Garland? His father-in-law was the judge for many years. Merrick Garland, he was the DOJ. Did you see how he's got $44 million. The father gave him this massive house. He paid rent, but he never covered the nut. No one ever paid any taxes, and the property transfers without any costs or transfer stamps. They don't even pay the frickin' transfer stamps on it, because it was left to the daughter in the will. It's fracking amazing. It'll make the Pritzkers, Abe Pritzker was a scumbag and a scoundrel, but a brilliant bastard. Never paid a tax in his life, just like his kids and grandkids. They don't pay any fracking taxes. It's only the guy busting his ass right now, the guy turning the wrench in his auto parts store for the fourth time. I'm so sick and tired of the idea we took this progressive tax system from Karl Marx and we use it as a weapon against it, and not one Somalian LLC ever had a tax problem. How the frack is that possible? And the scam of when they create these funds, and then they put the $3 million in, and I'm going to start the Clinton Foundation, $3 million, and they get the government policies that put $600 billion in. They take the $3 million out and pay themselves and their kids. Get the hell out of here with all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize all of the shenanigans that goes on, but man, is there a lot. And it was eye-opening to me. That's why all these guys, they shoot for it, because then they can get out of all their positions and pay no tax. And then after they leave office, they can put those positions back on. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. And it's just both sides of the aisle that does it. That's not leadership to me. I can't stand that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what all those years, people would make fun and say, "Oh, you guys down there, they have no idea what we generated in taxes, in people working, and the stress that we individually went through. And at the end of the month, what do you live on? You live on 35%, 45% if you're lucky. If you're lucky." And somehow I kept thinking, well, how do all these guys, there was a guy in the neighborhood, he had a Mercedes SL 560. This is back in the day. Nobody had a Mercedes. How does he, and it says on his license plates, "I save him." He's a half-assed ghetto preacher with a liquor store attached to the building. That son of a gun was 5 times as smart as me. Never paid a tax in his fracking life. He's on his 5th Mercedes now. I'm so sick and tired of these games. Really. It's the good versus the evil. And that's how I view it.
And it's not going to, I mean, we have one man in office that can try to make a dent in it. And hopefully whomever comes up behind him gets elected and continues with what he's doing here, because a lot of the things that this president's doing won't really come to fruition until he's even out of office. And so we need somebody that's going to make sure that they carry on his legacy.
And that's the best thing. He's done so many fantastic things. So many, from the border to you see all the cocaine boats that are being blown up. I mean, even in Washington, they're getting nervous. Nancy Pelosi is going to have to pay more for her 8-ball. So when you see this is all great. But that big, beautiful bill, what does that do? I don't care if you're a waitress or a bartender, if you're a bricklayer or you own a company. You keep more of your money. For that alone, they should cantonize the son of a gun, because that's the first time since Reagan anybody talked about it. You keep more of your money, and all the virtue in these scum, in these ghettos that rob their own people no matter what color they are, they get endless money. I love it. For that alone, and notice with this Tom Massey thing, he voted against it, this stupid son of a... Oh, you're a libertarian? Fracking idiot. Scumbag. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I'm on board. This is, hopefully, I just want it to. I'm worried about it stopping because I'm starting to feel like things are coming back in the realm of normalcy. But if when he's out and it's only going to be 2 years from now, then what happens? And that's I'm already starting to borrow.
Oh, babe, look at us. Look at the things that change in 2 years. You got to be optimistic. Look at us. Remember, I mean, come on. We struggled our whole lives. We got the best problems in the world because the momentum moves forward as long as you stay on top of the decisions. The 30,000 decisions each and every one of us make every day. Make the biggest one is where you're going to spend your money and where you're going to buy your real estate and where you're going to live your life. Those are the biggest decisions.
What's that? I have a buddy of mine that's in the business. He says, "Don't ask where your money went. Tell it where to go."
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I'm going to tell you something. I come back to Illinois and I love, you love it. And you got people, and it's like all your friends and family. The people who struggle and raise their kids and they got regular jobs, they paid all the honest fees. They can't afford it, right? Can't afford to leave or whatever. Set it up now. Leg out. Do whatever you have to do. Rent the house. Buy a little place in Tennessee. Wherever you go, just make sure you can do better. And it's never too late to do it. And you look at, you look at the old people and the smile on their face. It's not just because the weather's better out south. It's because the people are better. So I love the fact you're in Tennessee. I'm driving back, so don't be surprised if I stop and ask you to go meet me for some ribs.
All right, I'm up for it.
All right, brother.
Just keep your hands and feet away from my teeth.
Oh, come on. I've been around wood chippers all my life. I'll be all right. Thank you very much. Thanks for always making time. I appreciate it.
Okay, see ya.
We'll see you. Be back with your calls and comments.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Platform safety is critical.